What if I told you that I can explain you in one scene, and one scene only, why everybody loves Zack and Aerith's relationship? And for those who already love them, I can make you love them even more by explaining you why you love them. Bet? Bet.
So, ever meet any soldier members?
Maybe.
Do you think that they're happy?
What do you mean? Eyes infused with Mako energy. A soldier trademark.
Oh, you.
Color of the sky, right?
Uh-huh. But not scary at all. I was thinking it would be a normal day. But then suddenly, some guy fell out of the sky.
That's not all that bad.
This is going to be wholesome as hell. Alright, so, in order to paint the context of this scene, you have to understand that Zack and Aerith just met at this point. And in a very brutal and out of nowhere fashion, with Zack falling out of the sky and falling on Aerith's church, breaking through and falling in the flower bed that Aerith is growing inside the church. A pretty odd way to start a relationship if you ask me, but you have to remember something about them. The reason why they bond so quickly isn't because they're both like horny teenagers that just kind of look at each other as attractive and kind of bond really quickly because of that. The reason why they bond to each other so quick is because they're both hurting. And they're both hurting from the same thing. They're both hurting from loneliness. For Zack, this loneliness comes from the fact that he just tried to save Angel a few scenes prior to this one, and he failed. He failed to get his friend and mentor back.
Tell me what happened.
Mom? I want to help out a friend, but I don't know how I can do it.
And not only that, he starts to doubt the very organization that he revered so much before, Soldier. Both Angel and Genesis's words are starting to get to him, and he feels more and more like a freak, and all these things make him feel more lonely than ever. As for Aerith, she feels the same way, very lonely, because her whole life she's been overprotected and kind of kept apart by Shinra and by the Turks because she's an ancient. She's a Cetra. She's the last of her kind. Even though she's pretty popular inside the slums, it doesn't really matter. She can't connect to someone on a really deep level because if it were to happen, the Turks would intervene and, well, keep an eye on things. So she cannot really connect to anyone to a point where her needs are met.
Heroes to children, protectors of the peace. But they're not normal. They get some kind of special surgery, don't they?
So they say.
Normal is best. I think so, at least.
So, as soon as they arrive in the playground, Aerith starts to talk about Soldier and question Zack about his view on Soldier, even though she doesn't know he's part of it. Which is already a bit of a awkward moment, because we know as players about Zack's forming and accumulating melancholy towards Soldier. This was already hinted at a few scenes prior from this, when they met in the church, where Aerith tells Zack that he should be more careful around flowers because normally people care about flowers, and Zack answers in a sad tone,
Well, I guess I'm not normal.
So even though as Aerith questions Zack about Soldier, she finds them scary, she describes them in a pretty bad way, she still shows a good heart because she's trying to put herself in their shoes. She's trying to be empathetic, if you will. As for Zack, on the other part, this is very unusual and very unsettling for us because for the first time, we see Zack being very defensive. An interesting part of this conversation at this point is when Aerith says, normal is best, at least I think so. Not only is it interesting because it shows that she wants to be as normal as possible, so that she can not feel lonely anymore and connect to people, it also mirrors to a sentence that Angel said to Zack a few scenes prior, when he said that he didn't wish to be an angel or a monster or whatever you want to call it. He just wants to be human. All of these thoughts and these struggles tie to one of the main themes of Final Fantasy VII in general, and the idea of identity. Aerith then just goes on full offensive by saying that soldiers are weird and scary. And that's when Zack breaks it and admits to her that, well, he's a soldier.
They fight. And they love it.
Actually, I'm with Soldier.
I'm sorry.
Of course, as soon as she realizes what she's done, Aerith apologizes. But here's the thing. You would think of Zack that he would be the kind of guy to be like, oh, no, it's fine, like, it's alright, like, I'm not hurt, you're fine, you didn't do anything wrong. Which he probably would in normal times, but there he just doesn't say a word, and he seems really confused and really embarrassed. You can tell that this subject is very touchy to him. To bounce back from this very awkward situation, they flirt a little bit, with Aerith doing the flirting first. Good job, girl. She even states that Zack's sky-colored eyes, despite her fear of the sky, are not scary at all, and that's a pretty powerful sentence in a way, because it kind of means that she entrusts him with her fears, if you will. Or at the very least that he makes her fears lesser. Which is an interesting interaction, because following that, Zack entrusts her back with some of his fears.
I'll admit, things haven't been normal at all lately.
After that, they flirt some more, which is really cute, until Zack receives a call from Shinra. And look at Aerith's face when the phone rings.
Bad?
If that's not a face of disappointment, I don't know what is. But this scene is not over, oh no, because the real gut punch is still to come. Because right as Aerith is about to go, she says to Zack,
I hope that your friend's okay, Zack.
Huh?
You talk in your sleep.
Yeah. It'll be fine. I know that now.
Oh no, Aerith. If you take into account that this subject is Zack's main source of sorrow and worries, if you know how this is going to end, if you know how desperately both Zack and Aerith needs company, let's say, and the fact that she slightly leans towards him to really try to reach him with her words, oh no, man. I'm not gonna lie, these words hit me hard. And Zack must have felt it pretty deep too, because he states that he knows that things will be fine now, implying that Aerith's words and presence made him see things in a better light. Zack then has to go back to Shinra, but they promise each other that they're going to see each other again, and the foundations for a pretty sweet and wholesome relationships are just laid out. As we reach the end of this scene, I want to touch on two subjects which help this scene feel so sweet. The music and the environment. For the music, Eyes the Color of the Sky being the name of it, it incorporates one of the main leitmotifs of Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core, the price of freedom, but giving it a softer sound with the piano touches. The chords also feel more lamenting than in the original, fitting well with the gentle moment our characters are living, with a touch of sorrow over it all. For the environment, this scene takes place in a playground in the middle of the slums. The playground represents a haven of childhood innocence amidst the poor and desolated slums, also mirroring our protagonist's moment of teenage wholesomeness in the middle of their struggle-filled life. Both of these elements help to highlight this loving and tender moment that the two characters can share before facing the hardships that await them. For those who discovered the Final Fantasy VII universe, I hope I made you like this couple and realize how cute they are. And for those who already knew them, I hope that this kind of analysis of the scene in depth made you appreciate them even more. And I'll see you later for another video.